What is going on, Genesis Duelist? It is the Mike Man here, your resident Dino Duelist, and I'm here with a live reaction and a discussion to the point update. So before we get into the live reaction, my predictions, I mean, they're obviously going to hit Blitz. It was like 7 out of 8 of the top 8 of the NAGC, the North American Genesis Championship at the NAWCQ. So yeah, Blitz is like, then I think they're going to destroy Blitz. I don't know if they're going to destroy it, but they're going to at least hit it. And then I hope they hit the FDKs. So I hope they hit Mjolnir, and the Earth. It hasn't happened to me, but apparently there's an Earth Machine FDK, and apparently it got way more consistent. I don't know the details, but just any sort of FDK that's like consistent is a problem, obviously. So I hope they hit that. And Cosmo Neos is in that sort of camp of FTKs, but I'm going to say something a little bit controversial. I'm no hero player. I'm no big fan of heroes. But I will say the Cosmo Neos, compared to the other FTKs, turn skips, that type of stuff, the Cosmo Neos is actually, like, not that hard to beat. If they resolve it, it's very, like, I've beaten the Cosmo Neos FTK multiple times. Did you know that you can activate hand and graveyard effects under the Cosmo Neos FTK? It just stops monster effects. It's just skill drain. That's all it is. And spells and traps. I mean, obviously it's still a turn skip. It's still strong and deserves points. Don't get me wrong. And if they want to point it, I'm not going to complain. But I'm just saying, of all the turn skips and FTKs I've ever seen, Cosmo Neos is probably the weakest one. Like, I'm a Dirac Dino player, so you know what I do? You could still Kaiju them. You could still summon Pankratops. You can set your Chalices. You can set your Book of Eclipse. You could, I normal summon Dirac Stego, or I set Dirac Megalo. I go battle phase, Stego Crash, Stego non-target bounce something, because if it's destroyed by battle, you can non-target bounce a card. If Dirac Megalo is destroyed, and plus I can even get both monsters in the field, right? Because I could normal summon Stego, special Megalo from hand. I could even special Pankratops on top of that. And then I just either crash Megalo on my turn, and then get Astero, and then on their turn I nuke them. And then I could Kaiju, if they have the Omni Negate, I could like Kaiju their Omni Negate. What's it called? The Chaos Hero? It's the Chaos Masked Hero Omni Negate. You could just Kaiju it, or you could set a Chalice for it. And then yeah, you just Megalo nuke their field. That's like Jirac's, like that's like a Dino deck's answer to that. And I'm sure other top decks have ways to play around it using hand and monster effects, or hand and graveyard effects. So, but yeah, I mean, let's get into it. So, just FTKs and Blitz, and yeah, there's gonna make a bunch of adjustments. So let's get into it. Let's read it. Okay, so Point Genesis Championship August update. Now this update's gonna be pretty important because we're in the first ever like Genesis regional season where there's going to be like Genesis regionals. So this point update is going to dictate how the first ever Genesis regional season is going to go. So it's a very exciting time. So, I see some things. Okay, Rongo Miniad. I kind of knew Rongo Miniad, and I see some Blitz names. Okay, I'm gonna, luckily my microphone is kind of in front of like the regular stuff, so it's gonna be kind of easy to block that stuff out. Okay, reminder, beginning the season, Genesis is expanding through, regional qualifiers as well. So you'll need an invite to compete in the next year's Genesis Championship. That'll be no problem for the Mike Man. So check out the locations on the website here. And don't forget, the new winners packs get awarded to the top finishers at Genesis Regionals, so it's another chance to get your hands on the latest prize. Have you guys seen the winners pack misc? Oh, it's so clean. So I'm looking to get one of those. All right, these point changes will take effect on Monday and are based on results from the Genesis Championships held at our recent WCQs. Yep. Let's start with some of the overall takeaways and trends from the WCQs. I'm very interested to see what they're about to say. Between North America and Europe, there were no severe play rate outliers among individual strategies. You see, this is very true. Blitz dominated like the top tables, but in terms of representation, I mean, throughout the day, you're not going to see that many Blitz. You're going to see it a little bit more than everything else, but you're still going to see a lot of different strategies. Like I saw a lot of different strategies in the giant card and in the main event. Between North America and Europe, there were no severe but the only strategy that used by more than 10% of the players was Blitz Click, around 13%, although Fairy Tail was close. Okay. Furthermore, and that's to be expected. Blitz and Fairy Tail were pretty popular, but Blitz, yeah, definitely probably the most represented deck. Furthermore, no individual card was used by 50% or more of all players. DD Crow did sneak. Wait. Furthermore, no individual card was used by 50%. It's kind of annoying to me that that like usage is still their primary metric for measuring things. Because like there are other factors other than usage, but it's an important factor, I suppose. The only strategy used by more than 10% of players was Blitzclick, around 13%. That's to be expected, although Fairy Tail was closed. Okay. Furthermore, no individual card was used by 50% or more of all players. Diddy Crow did just sneak over just 50% in North America. It was pulled back to the other side by Europe. Okay, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of weird that they're using usage rate as such like an important metric to make these sort of decisions, because I mean, DD Crow, do you think DD Crow should be more than 1 point? You know what I mean? Are they going to raise DD Crow because it's like the most played card? That's kind of absurd, right? So I don't know. We'll see. The overall most popular strategy globally was Blitzclick, which swept the weekend's events. Yep. In Europe, the second most popular strategy was Melfi, while in North America, it was summoning Therion King Regulus. Okay, so machine decks. However, when you put the numbers together from both events, Fairy Tail comes out as this overall second most popular strategy. Melfi ended up with no top finishes anywhere, rip. But one of the Regulus decks, teaming with it, Doom Z, made top 8 in Europe. Fairy Tail made top 32 on every continent and was the winner in the South America Genesis Championship. The Central American Genesis Championship was won by Teller Knights using Rongo Miniad. Yep. Okay, so Rongo is going to 100. That's a good thing. Having finally won a championship, Rongo Miniad can now peacefully retire. It's annoying that this had to happen for them to point it to 100, right? But hey, better late than never. Okay, a big question was, which obstructive thunder monster ends up being the monster of choice for Blitzclick? The actual data shows Thunderclap Monk to be the heavy favorite with a small side of Lightning Rod Lord. The next question is, do you play 1 or 3 monks? A question that the winner answered with most empathetic 3. So here are the Blitzclick point changes for now. Okay, so before we get into this, yeah, Thunderclap Monk was very popular. To pop 3 cards with Whisker and then just summon Thunderclap Monk and then have that double monster negate is hard for a lot of decks to play through. Whisker to 6. I'm surprised Whisker was 0, dude. Whisker was like their like main playmaking card. Breakaway to 2, Thunderclap Monk to 9. Anyway, these are gonna add up. Thunderclap Monk to 9. Okay, yeah, because Thunderclap Monk's the monster negate, if I remember correctly. And Lightning Rod Lord to 1. I don't remember what that card is. But to be honest, I mostly saw Thunderclap Monk and maybe an occasional Thunder King Ryo. I did not really see Lightning Rod Lord, so I'm curious to see what card this is. Okay, for Fairy Tail, Snow's points are being redistributed amongst other key cards. Genia and Regulus. Genia is like the level 4 Genie girl, and then Regulus, the Endominion one, are also being monitored, but we'll get a better look at them when Beyond the Brave launches. Okay, so what? 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 Fairy Tail Snow is 10 points? Y'all are crazy. That's insanity. That's insanity. Fairy Tail Snow is 10 points. Fairy Tail Snow is 10 points. Oh my goodness gracious. That is a terrible decision. You guys just said it was like the second most popular deck. Okay. Fairy Tail, Machigiru to 5, Wickcat to 10, and Ball to 10. Okay. So the deck, but still, the fact that Fairy Tail Snow can be like just thrown in like any grave deck is crazy. Shit, I could play Fairy Tail Snow. I could discard it off of a Megalo and then have it in the graveyard. I'm not going to because 10 points. I'd rather spend it on like non-engine. But like, that's insane. That is crazy. That is nuts. I don't know. I think that's a crazy decision because you're nerfing a deck, right? I'm not saying Fairy Tail shouldn't be nerfed. But that's crazy. Doom Z is the most popular of the Regulus decks, but certainly not the only one. The general ability to easily make rank 4s and skirt the cost of Medius the Pure will also be lessened, but more about that later. Okay, so Regulus to 33. That's crazy. It's an Omni Negate. It's powerful. 33 points. It's hefty, though. I don't know if it's worth it. It's just one Omni Negate, you know? Teller Knights had an extremely good couple of months and were still very impactful after getting their initial points on the cards. Yeah, Teller is a crazy engine. It's hard for that deck to go second. It's very hard for that deck to go second and to play through Fua, but it's still a very powerful engine. Okay, so Teller, Teller, all getting point updates. To 5, to 1, to 5, to 3, to 1. So nothing, this one's getting a hefty points. I don't remember which Teller is which, but good to know that deck is getting points. I just hope they hit Mjolnir, because that FTK is absurd. Okay, what? They're hitting Melfi? The hype for Melfi was quite strong, and it saw a lot of play, but not a lot of success. So why are you guys pointing it? An unfortunate and costly stumble out of the gate, but the deck still has plenty of cap space for powerful non-engine cards. Yeah, I mean, okay, to be fair, it does deserve some points. Oh, okay, they're hitting it lightly. That's fine. God Mommy to 2, Footsteps to 2, Staring Contest to 2. It is a deck that can do a lot. The popularity of Sacred Beasts was one of the biggest surprises. Yeah, no, I don't know why. The deck is crazy. Like, that deck has so many different, things it could mix with. Like, have you seen it mixed with, I've seen a really strong deck mixed with the Yugioh engine. It was pretty cool. There were a lot of players on the floor looking for Starlight Rare Sacred Beasts, and they were delivering strong finishes and awesome duels all over the place. Yeah, that deck is pretty strong. Card of the Soul has been waiting for a good deck that runs 4K monsters for ages, but it's also a card you have to be careful with because any deck that inflicts incidental damage can render it unusable. So the Thunder one is getting points. Raviel's getting points. Martyr. Okay, so just kind of like across the board. Oh, and Gustav Max. Yeah, Gustav Max makes sense. But 10 is kind of crazy. But, Nerve of the Power Personification. I don't remember what card this is. But Sacred Bleed's Thunderclap, Martyr, all these cards make a lot of sense to get points. Crystron is currently the synchro combo deck of choice. The main flavor of Crystron going around now is Elf Note Crystron, but the BES version had a promising start. Currently, the BES version is only being used by a couple of players per event. Okay. Crystron, Elf Note. That is hard for me to read, but luckily I can highlight it. Okay, so yeah, it makes sense to point those. Okay, Clown Crew's antics have steadily increased over the past couple of months. The problem with so the only Clown Crew decks that I've noticed that have seen success are the ones where they're playing like the fairy engine with like the Heralds, the Lancias, the Kelbecks and stuff, or I don't know if Kelbeck, the Earth Fairies, the Ishizu Shufflers that are like 2 points. The problem isn't necessarily the Crown Crew engine, because they just go end phase and they draw into all their fairy tale stuff. Or into their fairy stuff. The problem is the fairy stuff. The Heralds, the Avas, the Earth Ishizu Shufflers, and those are actually severely underpointed. Those decks are crazy. And like, they're sleeper decks, not a lot of people play them, but the few people that are, I'm not talking about Crown Crew, but I'm talking about, there's also another deck. It's a Gem Knight fairy deck, and it was like actually really crazy. But yeah, those fairy cards are crazy. So if anything, hit the fairy engines. But Crown Crew Fair to 5, sure. Now let's take a look at some increases and decreases on some general use cards. I don't know. I feel like they need to be hitting the fairy stuff. So despite having its global usage rate dragged below the 50% mark, Crow is the most played card in the interform. They're pointing Crow again. Wowzers. Wowzers. That's what I have to say about this. It's always been a deceptive card because it reads like it does nothing. It does do nothing. But if you've ever played with it, you know that's not true. No, I know it's an incredibly, like, not, it's very, like, unimpactful. It does very little. Like, if you open Crow, and that's, like, your only hand trap against something, it's not going to do much. It only does anything if you... It only does anything if you already have other hand traps to pair with it, then it can, it just adds to the piling. But, or if you go first, and then, like, they have to play through a board, plus playing through your Crow. But like a Crow on its own is like close to not like either like completely unimpactful or like close to being not impactful at all. It's so like I think it's like a waste of space. And the only reason people played it was because they were afraid of getting Mjolnired. That's why I considered it, because I didn't want to get Mjolnir locked. But I decided that was like one deck out of like, I don't know, 30. Even though it was a scary deck. Anyway, a newer card with an over 40% use rate is Prayer Berserker. Yeah, that's been seeing play. That makes sense to get like a couple points, maybe like 1 or 2. The particular card is a fascinating case because the more people play it, the worse it gets. So a 0-point card that anyone could use, it's at its lowest effectiveness. Were it to gain points, it becomes more likely to resolve its destruction effect, since players will start cutting it out to save on points. Now, that actually makes a lot of sense. So we're going to monitor the ebb and flow of this card usage for a couple more big events before deciding what to do with it. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess it's weaker when it has less points. Okay, DD Crow to 2. That's pretty absurd. That's very absurd. I don't agree with that at all. The addition, because like there are more factors to consider than just usage rates, you know? Consider its like impactfulness. Crow is not a very impactful card. Not on its own. Like you have to see it with like other non-engine for it to like add up, but nah. Okay, the addition of Tellarnuts and Blitzclick in the format in consecutive sets massively spiked the usage of 7th Tachyon over the last couple of months. Yeah, that is a crazy like a crazy consistency card. Going from about one in every 11 players to using it in almost 1 in 3 is more than enough to warrant a point hike. Yeah. Similarly, a Hero Lives has become a crucial card in the various Regulus decks and other decks looking to spam rank 4s or Medius the Pure. Yeah. There's also the Hero engine as a rank 4 engine is pretty powerful. Yeah, pretty consistent. There's also been a jump in players using the Archfiend Arsenal thanks to the flexibility of Royal Archfiend and Archfiend's Usurpation. I'm not aware of this. Okay. 7th Tachyon to 11 points. Good. Dude, if my Falsadig is 33 points, yeah, you get your points. Man, I hope Falsadig lowers. If Falsadig was 5, I'd probably play 1 or 2. I don't know. No, I don't know. Falsadig's crazy. It's like another copy of Misk. If Falsadig... anyway. Okay. A Hero Lives to 8. Okay. Royal Art and some Archfiend hits. Okay. Let's see what's getting buffed. Dino buffs? Maybe. Crossing my fingers. Let's see. Now that we've got a lot more real-world data on search card usage, we're going to modify the base point values on most of the generic type searchers. And, yeah... So I hope... Oh, it looks like Falsadig might get a decrease. That's what I'm hoping for. Okay, and a few other search spells as well. Fossil Dig. Okay. The extra deck monsters will remain where they are for the moment. Sure. Okay. Bonfire to 15. Ooh. Okay. Chaos Space to 13. Okay. Deep Sea Araya to 12. E-Telly to 25. Fire Formation Tanky to 11. Fossil Dig to 18. Let's go! Is it worth? It might be worth it to play 1. I'll have to do the numbers. 18 is still a lot, though. 18 is a lot. Like, if it was, like, 10 or something, or 11, I would almost certainly say yes. But then it's like, oh, you're sacrificing important non-engine slots, which you're using on, like, Fualos. You know? I don't know, man. I don't know. And plus, we already have Small World, which is 0 points to get into Misk. Debatable. Totally debatable. Lone Fire Blossom to 10. That's cool. 1 for 1? 91 to 19. I like that. Original Sinful Spoils from Snake Eye 100 to 17. That searches level 1 fires, if I remember correctly. Direct Megalo is a level 1 fire. As is Evoltal Mega Corilla, which gets you into Drex Dego. Quick Launch. But that's 17 points. That's absurd. I'd rather just play Falsadig at that point in the Dino deck. Okay, Quick Launch. Rhoda to 18. Okay, and Terraforming to 20. Yeah, Terraforming is pretty high. But you could just play a 0-point Terraforming with Source of the Swamp. Okay. Next are some reductions and rearrangings for low-pop decks and decks whose cards are being used by non-themed decks. For example, Shaddoll players have solemnly sworn to us that they are willing to never fusion summon El Shaddoll Winda ever again in return for getting points back on their other cards. Okay, let's see where this goes. Yo, PK's getting buffed. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Uh-oh, my cats are going at it. Oh, they calm down. Okay. The PK, okay, so PK buffs. Wow. Okay. PK buffs. Break Sword going to 1. Okay. Blackwing getting buffed. Sword Soul getting buffed is... Ooh, what? Diagram to 5? I'm probably not going to play it because I don't think the baby version... The baby version of Dinos is a 2-card combo version of Dinos. And that's just not as strong as 1-card combos, which is why I like the fusion version with like GMXs, because there's a lot of 1-card combos with Ovi, Stego, Source of the Swamp, and like Experiment 55 and Misk. Like all of those are 1-card combos. Playing with Diagram and playing babies, you're relying on 2-card combos to resolve, and then basically you have like a card that's dead. You have the baby popper that can do something, and then if that gets negated, your baby in hand's doing nothing. Versus as opposed to having 2 1-card starters in your hand, right? So not a big fan of the baby popping stuff, but it's nice that we have the option. Tour Guide to 0. That's interesting. Rank 3 decks PK spam, Tour Guide. I don't know if BA is a thing, but probably not because I don't have Cherubini. But yeah. Okay, Garunix to 3 points. And then Fire King is getting some buffs. Okay, pretty cool. Oh man, the rank 3 spam is happy. They got Goblin Banker stuff. Cool. Officiator of Doom Samuel. I don't remember what this is. Thunder Crash Snarecrow. That's the other Thunder option that they were scared of. They pointed it last. I don't remember what it did, but no one played it because it was 10 points. Blitz might play it now. Pearly Happy Memory. Pirelli to 5. Whoa, my goodness. Winda to 100. Winda to 100. That's, I mean, yeah, Schism into Winda's rough. That's a hard thing to beat. And then Apcolone and El Shaddoll Fusion getting buffed. So Shaddoll's gonna be a lot more doable. That's really cool. My homie Andre's into Shaddoll. Maybe I'll help him cook up a deck. That'd be fun. Shaddoll Fusion to 3. Okay. Shaddoll Schism to 1. Wow. Pot of Desires? Oh my gosh, Regeki to 2? I mean, yeah, but why would you play Regeki over Dark Hole? Dark Hole's 1 point? You know, I don't know. Dark Hole's a little bit better, especially in like weird decks where they summon something to your field and, you know, that maybe that thing could just kind of screw you. There's been like weird strategies like that throughout the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Where they just summon something on your field and it's like getting in your way. But yeah, Pot of Desires to 10 is pretty cool. And that will do it for this update. The next, okay, my microphone is in my way. That'll do it for this update. The next update will be towards the end of August. Okay, end of August, covering the new cards and Magnificent Monsters. Cool. Genesis regionals are now beginning. Let's go. And while these changes won't be active for this weekend, they will be for the next weekend. So while you're at your tournament this weekend, think about what cards you might want to pick up for the new format. Cool beans. Cool beans. Well, that was a pretty cool point list update. What are my takeaways? I'm overall pretty a little mixed, to be honest. I think Fairy Tail Snow to 10 is a very dangerous decision. And I think there's going to be consequences to this. People are going to do some crazy stuff with Fairy Tail Snow. Other than that, they did not point Mjolnir. Like, I'm glad they pointed Rongo, but Mjolnir is way, like, Mjolnir is way scarier, man. Mjolnir is terrifying. The fact that they didn't point Mjolnir is a problem. What else? Yeah, I mean, Blitz hits. I don't know how impactful this is for Blitz or Fairy Tail, but I'm glad they're getting pointed. Melfi getting some points makes sense. It's nothing crazy. They're still able to play a lot of powerful hand traps, a lot of powerful non-engine. Teller getting points makes sense. Sacred Beast getting points makes total sense. Synchro Spam getting points makes sense. I understand the Fairy's not doing anything right now, but the Fairy engine is so dangerous. It's so powerful. The Fairy engine is a problem and a half. And I think it's way underpointed. Like, Heralds are still 3 points, which is like very low considering how powerful of a card Herald is. Especially you send it with like a Shuffler, you send it with like Ava. Herald is crazy, man. Herald is absurd. Herald, the Shufflers, Ava, that whole... And then you side in Lancias too. Crow to 2 makes no sense. Almost certainly not going to play Crow because 2 points is just crazy for it. Silver Tachyon getting points. These I don't know, I can't speak on the Archfiend stuff, but the Tachyon and the Hero Lives, I'm glad they're getting points. And then the Searchers. Biggest thing, False Addict to 18. Probably won't play it still because 18 is very hefty. Considering Misk is still 67, so what's 67 plus 18? You'd be at 85 points playing Misk and a False Addict. I don't know. It's cool that we can do it, though. It's awesome that we can do that. It's an option. And then let's see. Searchers getting a little bit buffed is pretty cool. But you know what I like? These are very cautious buffs, right? It's nothing crazy. These are still like look, 15, 13, 12, 25, 11. These are all like one card. You know what I mean? Like, imagine you have to think in the context of like, this is 18 points for one False Addict. 15 points for one Bonfire, right? 18 points for one Rhoda. Like, that's one extra copy of your consistency card. So, 11 for Tenki is probably like the best bet here. I don't know, 10 on one Fire Blossom, but that's a normal summon commitment. So yeah, it's 11 on Tenki is pretty crazy. Is pretty good. Yeah, so I mean, I'm pretty happy. I mean, even the cheapest, which is 11 on Tenki, is still like, if you want to play 3 Tenki, that's 33 points. You know, it's still an investment. Like, this is very reasonable, to be honest. So yeah, totally happy with this. I feel like they could have gone even harder on this, but I'm not like gonna complain. PK getting buffed, that's good. And all these like rogue strategies getting buffed is a good thing, you know? So yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy. I'm scared of what's gonna happen with Snow, and I am upset that they didn't get they got one FTK because it did something. Their initial philosophy on pointing like unfun strategies that are just like turn skips, you know, what happened to that? Now it's just all about usage rate. And it's like, there are other things to consider other than usage rate. Anyway, that's it, man. I'm pretty happy with it. Overall, yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Very happy with it. So, yeah, that's it. I can't wait to cook, man. I'm stoked. I mean, there's a lot with the 5-point diagram, 18-point falsa dig, we got options. So I'm pretty stoked. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.